Kablam. Well,
All right, we are live.
we are live.
Episode
All right.
14.
Episode 14. There's quite a bit of material here. So
Phil gave me a packet. He gave me a summer homework assignment here. 1, 2, 3. I hope this isn't due the first week of school because it's not going to be done.
I forgot, dude. School with that reference, packets and
I hated them.
I haven't heard that reference since 1980. Man. Anyway, thank you for that. Introduction, episode 14 on Genesis and Phil Collins and Mr. Peter Gabriel. We won't talk about Peter's Gabriel stuff as much, but it was certainly a huge part of my existence with these people, and this band and these albums, and going back to some ways. So it's Genesis, Phil Collins, who I notified via Facebook, had the blue check mark. Now, whether he sees the comment buried on a post he did, not likely. But hey, you never know. And then, of course, Gabriel.
Oh, no, he's going to be jumping in here shortly. He actually reached out, sent me a text.
Right. Right. So doing Genesis now. So what was so fun at the top of the sheet, I basically I was going to do Bendig's second interview, repeat the interview was my plan. And over the weekend, I said, can you do it Wednesday? And I was hoping for that. And he wrote back and said, I can't this week. So boom, instantly the brain goes, I pull up Facebook and I scroll and I see 3 references to Led Zeppelin. There was an interview in Facebook. So they're like quick, real stuff. There was an interview and there were 2 live little bits. And I go, Zeppelin, of course, that's going to be kind of the ultimate episode. But so I was like, okay. And so I write Led Zeppelin at the top, episode 14. And then I scroll down and I hear one of my favorite Genesis songs. It's one of my favorite Genesis songs, off a Trick of the Tail. And that's the transition album from Gabriel to Without Gabriel. And really, I realized those songs on that record were my favorite. And then, of course, I just go right into on Spotify and check Trick of the Tail out. And I said, and so I crossed out Led Zeppelin, and it was Genesis. So that's how this happened.
I see that. Yeah, I saw the crossed out Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
It's a good little touch.
Yeah. So let's check the commentary on, just see who got a couple of stragglers. And the mic I had it kind of facing more toward or a little bit toward the speaker. Comments. Oh yeah, cool. All right, we're good. So I realized I realized you have viewers, but until then, you don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Right, which is like such a basic concept. But anyway, the introduction, Genesis, Phil Collins, and a little bit of Peter Gabriel. Went into that. And so before we do like announcements and ads to the last show, I wanted to give, because I'm likely to forget this, so I just want to do it now. It's shout out happy birthday to two of the most influential people in my music life, my brother Bud, Bill Thomas, February 18th, and likewise Park Hill, my musical mentor. And they were both musical mentors, but Park was more, hey, bring your drum set over and I'm going to give you a lesson. there's two there's there's two different kinds of mentors.
I see that.
Yeah. So shout out, happy birthday to Bill Thomas Jr., Bud, and Park Hill. Oh my gosh. But so I'll just keep going because I think we got some other stuff. Anything else for intro? Will Genesis, not other than the songs you hear on the radio, it's kind of, and it was more of the later stuff that because they ended up with a ton of stuff on the radio, kind of later on in the 80s. Right. Same.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's see. That's all. Into Deep. Land of Confusion.
The video. Oh, it was killer. Land of Confusion. Yeah. That's killer. Yeah.
That's like more of my speed when it comes to Genesis.
So. Okay. I'm in. Hey, that's sufficient. That leads you another fishing reference. I don't know where the fishing reference get. You got the small bait to get the smaller fish to catch the bass.
Yeah, and you're already bass fishing. I'm still here with the fucking minnows.
Yeah, but what here I think is going to be really cool and entertaining. Let's move on. So folks, this is what we do. There's an intro, and then I go to ads and corrections, but ads from the last episode that was on country music. And I'll pull that up. So occasionally something hits the mic and paper and whatever, and we'll just have to deal with it. So Pete, you'll love this. It was thanks to Pete for doing his guitar thing, right?
Mr. Pete Martin.
Mr. Pete Martin. And one of the things I wanted to say was when we and I didn't do it tonight, not intentionally because I just was busy. But that's going to be a regular spot. But when we do it, we're going to figure out his guitar volume compared like ahead of time, so that we can hear the guitar right. So Pete had the amp cranked up where he was, and he's like, "Bill, it's loud as shit." And I was having a hard time really hearing what I wanted to over the podcast because he just got the microphone from his laptop and his amp sitting to his left, and he's got it up loud, but so we'll have to work that out.
So, and I would assume Pete is a musician.
Yeah,
he should have a goddamn SM57 lying around somewhere. The hell, man? You think the freaking Dell HP laptop's gonna cut it? No. What the hell?
Oh my God, Will. Oh, that's so funny. Oh goodness. You're right. It may take mic in it and then putting the mic input into his laptop.
Right.
But I played next to that amp. It's loud as shit. I played next to it a bunch in that same spot he's sitting in. We used to rehearse there for a year and a half. But anyway, this is a throwback to the Van Halen really quick. I want you to know that Hot for Teacher and the video, I loved both. I love the song and I love the video because you're like, I disappeared. You're like, Hot for Teacher. It's like one of the best songs. it is. Yeah. So I had to. That's like a dig back from a couple weeks ago. All right. Okay. Here's an announcement real quick before I get into some ads from the country from my wife. Um, so Genesis, it was 5 guys originally, and for a long time, and the 2 that left were Gabriel and a guy named Steve Hackett. He was the guitarist, and he was actually so Mike Rutherford was bass and guitar, but Steve Hackett was the lead guitar of Genesis. Well, Steve Hackett left. Will, Steve Hackett's coming to the Plaza on February 27th, the day we're going up to the bike week thing. So the lead guitarist that quit, and he was in one number 3. Anyway, he left. I quit. He left back in 82, 81 approximately. He's coming to the Plaza, and he's going to be doing Genesis stuff. And he has a relatively big solo career, but so he'd be playing a lot of his stuff, which I really never heard. But he'll have rights to do some Genesis songs at the end of the month. You could hear. I'll stop. It blew me away.
That's a nice way to put it, though. He didn't quit. He left.
Yeah, he left. Yeah.
That was like when I left my last job and I told my boss, "Fuck you." I just left. I didn't quit. I just walked out of the building. Right?
Wow. That's killer. That is so fun. So that was only the updates. We got Joey Buttafuoco on, Mr. Oh, no, it's Titusville Joey. It's a different Joey.
Yeah, you don't even have to shout that guy out. Just keep going. Business
is picking up. Dear friend, Joey in our cube mate.
I don't know if I'd say all that. You're putting too much time on him. Yeah, just keep moving. Yeah, whatever. Hey, thanks for watching, Joey. Get out of here. No, just kidding.
His comments are fantastic. But Hot for Teacher was his favorite band. So all right. That was fantastic. So now on to the ads. That was a lot more fun. Then we're going to go into a little bit of material, but so on the country episode 13, we talked country and kind of really stuff we knew and what we heard. I was more old school, Alan Jackson. You had checked out all the newer, most of the newer stuff and seen shows. One thing we didn't mention were female country artists. And let's face it, folks, there were many. My God. So I asked my dear wife, Becky, I said, hey, because we've had discussions on this, and I know she saw Loretta Lynn live and loved George Strait and saw him before she took me to my one and only country concert, which one of the opening acts was Faith Hill. So I asked Becky to please add, and now I have to. Someday I'll have some sort of light above me where it'll light this up better, where I can see writing and stuff. But I had written down a short list of female vocalists: Tammy Wynette, Tanya Tucker, Loretta Lynn, Shania Twain. Right, those are significant names. But she added some. She goes, you didn't mention Dolly Parton. Oh my gosh, Dolly, going back to Hee Haw days, but covered. Dolly Parton is to country like Willie Nelson as female.
It's the country. Dolly Parton is to country as
that was a bad association.
McGraw is to country.
As Tim McGraw is to Faith Hill. No, they're married. I forgot.
And Peter Gabriel is to Genesis, is Phil Collins is to Genesis. You know?
Oh my God. So I have to catch myself in these circumstances because I could actually spray any drink I just put there. I have to totally check myself. But so here's her thing, and so her face, Loretta Lynn and Coal Miner's Daughter, the movie Coal Miner's Daughter, the movie that Sissy Spacek played Loretta Lynn, and her husband do that, and we watched that together. But it was like 20 years ago. Still comes on. It was still worth watching. It really tests her whole thing. So okay. Loretta Lynn learned, and this kind of from the movie too. Loretta Lynn learned to play guitar, taught herself. She wrote
and performed.
She wrote almost all her songs. Her first record, Honky Tonk Girl, and that's the one in the movie. They go from, and it's really a historical accurate thing. They take the single Honky Tonk Girl, and they go set out, and they go to radio stations, and the husband, of course, who's a famous actor there, cool guy, I forget. He's hell bent, like, hey, she's good, and we're going to promote this. Well, they just go to radio stations and go inside, and then the DJ being there, and they go, we got a single we want you to play. And they did that over and over and over, and it caught on in the Midwest. And that the movie portrays that. But so I'll stop. I'll read her stuff. Yeah. Okay. And then she made it to the Grand Ole Opry. And then so Grand Ole Opry is like Whiskey A Go Go for the rock guys, for the rock people.
Grand Ole Opry is to country as the Lakeland Civic Center is to Phil.
Yeah, that is a good association. Okay, so here's where and of course, because you love Loretta Lynn, you're gonna love Patsy Cline, because Loretta Lynn took over for Patsy, in her later days. Patsy Cline, Grand Ole Opry, string of hits. I should have had to rewrite this so I could read more of it, but it was a couple of hits of Patsy Cline's that were, and she had the one that was, but there was a thing where, wasn't there a thing where Willie and Patsy, they each wrote a song for each other to do, and Willie did that a lot, but Patsy did that a lot too. Okay, Tammy Wynette married George. Oh, this is epic. This is the kind of stuff. Tammy Wynette was married to George Jones.
George Jones, brother.
My God, George Jones. It's Merle Haggard and George Jones. Yeah, Merle probably at the little top of the next step, but man, Stand By Your Man. So they wrote Stand By Your Man, I think, together. Dolly Parton, a string of country hits. She crossed over into pop, as we know, but Dolly also played a bunch of bluegrass. And she was like kick ass. She played like Appalachian, but which is kind of bluegrass, and it's kind of the same thing. But doing it was a movie. And Dolly to me is like Willie to me. Same thing. The best songwriters. I'll leave it at that.
Phil, I love it. I love the this to that is this to that. It's just great. Dolly is to me as Dolly is to Phil, as Dolly is to country music.
Oh my gosh. Oh goodness gracious. Okay, let's keep going because we got other stuff. I don't know why that's well. It's because of the female thing. I think like you instantly compare. Like here's the female artist. Well, there's the guy thing on the other side, and you realize they're all musicians and all. It's like Heart. I don't think a Heart any different than any other rock band whatsoever. I really don't.
Heart.
Yeah. I did one, and I don't know who that is. I can't read the name. She's still. Oh, this is really tough. She's still. This is somebody else, or it might be that was Dolly. Oh yeah. She's still
Relevant and mainstream. She does still make music.
Oh, you can read that better than I can. Thank God.
It seems like Becky.
Mainstream.
It seems like when you had asked Becky to write this, she was like, "Phil, don't you know I'm getting ready for my other job? Can you leave me the fuck alone? Okay, I'll give you some scribble and then go away."
Oh my God, that certainly was on her mind, but she did good. Oh my gosh, Will, you're man, you're magic on some of that. Again, it helps that we work together and drop these little details. Oh my gosh! So that was from the first the last episode, and wasn't it great? Her inside's great. Yeah, and she loves it. She freaking loves it, and
she actually knows a lot about these guys. Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't even know some of this stuff.
Like Tanya Tucker married to George Jones.
Yeah.
I may have heard that somewhere along the way, but yeah, it's like super cool. Tammy Wynette, oh man, and I remember some of that stuff. It would cross over to they do some sort of semi pop thing that would cross over to pop radio because their goal is to sell more records. So if you could pop over to from country to a pop station, or and all of a sudden the record gets like a big bump. That's what they were after, and a lot of times just to spread the word.
Yeah,
I mean, we're really just spreading the word.
That's kind of all we're doing. We're spreading the word of music, though.
Okay, we got to drop back into Genesis. So that was that. We had the little shoot the shit section.
That was a tongue twister.
Yeah. And the only thing I had was I'm wearing this T-shirt, and then let me find that. I got this too. So here's the little. It's kind of a segue into the main thing eventually here, sooner than later. Is Joey still on? So like little things pop up and like, one driver turn on Windows backup and it's right over the comments, right? What's the luck of that? Mr. Rainey's on.
Mr. Rainey.
Okay.
Bradford.
So we're transitioning with just a little have fun spot. You guys will remember this. So this weekend, we went to this, and then I'm just going to show it and let you talk about it. It was a burger challenge in Orlando.
So yeah, me and Mr. Joey Two Bits, Mr. Jose Garcia, Mr. Imperial 2009, we went to Orlando to take down that beast of a burger within 10 minutes. And we both hit about a 5-minute mark for taking that down.
Yeah.
And that was, and we got Phil's donning a shirt that he bought. Our shirts were earned. /bought because we had to pay for the fucking burger. But
Right.
it's like, I came over here, I eat this burger in 5 minutes, and you charged me $25? Did you not enjoy the spectacle? It's ridiculous nowadays, man. You can't get anything.
You did it in well within the time. In half the time, you guys did it, and it was a ton of fun because it was like 8 or 9 of us that came over to see this. It was a lot of, and it was from like, this is in Edgewood, Florida, which is on South Orange Avenue. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was great turnout. And then we afterwards, this is fun. Hey, Will, we're up to 5. 6 is the most, but we've never broke 7. So if we break 7, the person has to say who in the comments. Unless it's Phil Collins, and then he doesn't have to do anything.
Except go onto the. Except he has to take the link, join the stream.
Right.
And we'll just let him run the show. We'll just sit here.
Phil's he's I had the right word for it, but the rules don't apply to Phil Collins if there's any sort of comment or interface.
He's immune, yeah.
He's immune from the any sort of participation other than listening. Yeah. So anyway, so we did that, and that was it. Shirt, you got something going on?
I'm donning the Motley Crue again. Dr. Feel Good, because I feel good with Dr. Feel Good.
Wow.
And this episode feels good. So I felt like it was only fitting to don some Motley Crue again. And let me put this out there for all of you Genesis fans watching this right now.
Yeah.
Motley Crue is a bit different from them, right? Just the tiniest bit different in the realm of blues and rock, but
right.
You know, you could maybe see some connections, maybe. No, you can't. No, I don't think you can.
Now you got my brain going. I'm thinking like, okay, so Motley Crue in their time frame, I would bet $1,000. No, that's too much.
Oh,
I bet $500 that Collins certainly along the way, and Peter, I would bet you can't say statistically for the whole band, like every one of them heard Motley Crue on a rock station at some point in time. Those guys traveled a lot, and they're stuck in cars a lot, and they put on the radio, and it's some bozo driving them, and he puts on fucking Motley Crue. So the chances of that happening to all of them is not bad. Right. But yeah, I would bet that Collins. So here's the deal: Collins and now Peter Gabriel's a little different, just in his interests and the things he's produced post Genesis. But I would. So it just comes down to Phil. I would bet that he had heard Motley Crue at some point because Phil Collins was producing records and he's in LA. He probably hung out with him at some point in the studio because back in the 80s, Phil Collins was like always in a studio, like producing and playing drums for people. So it's a great segue. I would bet. I would bet. But okay, we got to move on. All right. Man, that was a long 4 minutes to draw a connection to your shirt.
And it wasn't that strong of a connection either. The connection was there was a fucking chance in the blue sky that they might have heard a song on the radio. You know, Phil, let me tell you this. The chance of Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel and the whole band of Genesis listening to Motley Crue on the radio is probably just as high as me listening to Motley Crue on the radio. because if we had the radio on, probably heard him once or twice.
Right. Hey, I want to ask real quick. I took the headphones back out like I did last week. I can hear you fine, and I think when it comes time to play music, I won't be able to hear. So I'll because we're gonna play a little something here eventually.
Okay.
Right. Little Butson.
Phil, I'm gonna get you an award, brother.
Phil,
for the number one futzer in all of Brevard County. All right.
Okay. So I think it's time, drum roll, main event. So when I started this sheet, I go, who were the first 5 guys? And I named 4 of the 5. And the one I missed was Steve Hackett, because he had left before I saw them in the records. Mostly I was listening to. That's not true, but he was the most obscure guy to me. But man, Steve Hackett was a great lead guitarist and was with the band all the early years up until before it would have been. I can't remember the year now, and I actually have those years written down here on another sheet. Hey, go ahead.
So in short terms, Steve Hackett was Genesis's lead guitarist until he wasn't.
Yeah. Bottom line.
And Phil Collins was Genesis's drummer until he wasn't. Okay. And that's just the bottom line. You can't argue that with us. Okay?
Exactly. Well, Braden, you joined at the perfect moment. So we're just going into the main. So Braden's got it nailed. He's like, I'll come in, boom. And we're actually just going into the main thing. We literally just started. So and I don't want to give him credit yet, but we'll bring him in here shortly. But so I sat there on the porch and I wrote down Peter Gabriel, Phil Collins, Tony Banks. So you guys don't know who Tony Banks is, but well, Braden does. Tony Banks and Mike Rutherford, but the 5th guy was Steve Hackett, and he was the only one I had to look up. So I'll just grant you that. They were from Surrey, England.
Ooh.
Surrey, England, and I luckily we won't have to endure any of that and try to bring up content and stuff. But I've listened to these little interview pieces, and I heard them before recent here to get prepared for this. Surrey, England, college peeps. Gabriel. Let's face it, he was more artistic in college than fucking Peter Gabriel. Formed a band and Collins eventually auditioned as a drummer and got in. And that was kind of the start of the band. It was 4-piece at first, and Collins described that they hired a guitarist. And it might not have been Hackett at that time, because when you're starting out early, we're just starting to do gigs, we're still working at still, and then you play a club or two, and you realize like the Beatles went through that. Hey, this guy really isn't cutting it. We got to get Ringo Starr. Thing, but the lineup, the finished lineup when they started, and I can't say that all of the 5 of those guys were on the first album. Their first stuff is really obscure. It goes back to '68. Anyway, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to bring Braden in here shortly. We'll fast forward. So there's their early period, which is with Gabriel and those early albums that Braden is able to talk to more than I can. Foxtrot and Selling England by the Pound and stuff. Those early albums, those are all with Peter Gabriel, and they were all super significant. And that's really when it drew my brother's attention, my brother Bud, because he checked it out. And I never got a sample from any Genesis stuff. It was only until Gabriel left, and Bud was a big Gabriel fan that segued. But I'm fast forwarding here, so I'll slow down. Yeah. So this kind of little, I'm doing a brief history of the band, and then we'll go into the discography and start talking more about it. I think it's fitting that we bring in Mr. Braden at this point. Yeah. Oh my!
Hello.
See, he kicks my ass with these shirts. Oh my god,
Genesis.
dude!
Welcome, Braden, to the fun.
Thank you.
Bill, this is great. I'm so happy that we're able to dive into this, and I'm so happy we have a SME, a subject matter expert.
We do.
And I just want to bring something up really quick, really quick, out of the blue.
I hope Joey's hearing this. Okay.
Oh, Joey's here. Joey is here.
Okay. He's hunkered down.
So you know, Phil, it's awesome to be able to do this show with you and talk about all this music. But we do live in the land of America, and Phil likes to sit here and talk about bands that aren't from America, and sometimes it drives me a little crazy. It's like, what's next? You're going to talk about Led Zeppelin? You're going to talk about Queen? Come on, Phil. Come on. What are we doing, man?
Yeah. This
is ridiculous.
Fucking great bands. And you know who? So this is a complete segue. This is what happens with these guys, and they'll love it. So my brother knew a bunch of those American bands, Black Oak, Arkansas, and he was into the real cool U.S. rock, and they were great bands. And I didn't turn into a lot of them. I kind of went in the British direction, but my favorite of all those people was Joe Walsh. Solo Joe Walsh.
Joe Walsh.
Man.
There you go.
Oh, there's a story. Well, Braden, what do you think? But we'll come back to the shirt. It's too cool. I'm taking a picture of my screen to get a picture of the shirt.
Well, the shirt has a story which we're all familiar with.
Wow.
I mean, what was it? About a month ago, we all went out and I wore this shirt. And, we were just having a great time watching some football, putting back some beers. And this guy comes over. He's like absolutely sloshed. And he's like, Genesis, and starts talking. I don't even know. He started talking about, I mean, Will, you probably remember better than me. He was talking about like love and like how we all exist.
I'm not sure he was talking about the band. I think he was talking about like the ravaging. Like, I think he was talking about Genesis from the Bible. He's like, the world's going to come to an end and shit like that. Like,
yeah.
So this is so fun because there's three interpretations of what happened. Or not what happened, but what you heard from the guy. Because it just come to us, and where the three of us are looking at him, and he goes, Genesis, like 6-year-old guy. And my take was, I thought somehow he was a Phil Collins fan. Like he heard the word or somehow Phil Collins just like came into his mind, and I thought he was talking about Phil Collins.
Yeah, and I thought he was talking about Peter Gabriel. That was the big, because he was like, oh, remember that band, that main guy in the band, and I was like, yeah, dude, like Peter, because he was like, yeah, when that guy left, I don't even know what he was saying, but I thought he was referring to Peter Gabriel.
So fun.
So it was just it was wild, and then Will started messing with him, and he started hitting on the bartender. That was
really, and just not messing with, just kind of pulling him in, and Well, you're good at that, where you realize, and oh my gosh.
Oh, I got my show out of it. Don't worry about that.
Oh my God,
that was a great time for me.
So perfect, Braden, with the Genesis shirt. Yet another shirt I have to borrow, other than the Sade shirt that I have to borrow sometime. Boy, he's not gonna. He doesn't budge an inch. But
that's true.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Get into material.
Yeah, I thought no better occasion to wear this shirt than the Genesis pod. So
Wow.
arguably it was meant for this. You know, I'm
Yeah.
getting my full money's worth out of this shirt just in this one sitting.
Yeah. Without a doubt, for sure. Right.
Yeah.
So I'll get back into some material here. Chime in here soon.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
so until they reach their popular pop phase kind of thing, where they having the hits on the radio later on in the 80s, it had been the later 80s. Prior to that, the early material and even some of the material with the three of them, the music's dramatic, right? It's dramatic. It's like a play, and at times it's like a play. The closest thing I ever got to understanding words of a play was really from Genesis, because I would just like read the lyrics. They always had the lyrics, in the album sleeve, and I would sit there I spent a lot of time, or enough time, it was quite a bit of time over time, and I was like, this means more to me than as far as making sense. It meant more to me than Homer and the Iliad.
I don't blame you, Phil. I feel like
Yeah,
that one's not super high up in most people's books right now. But back in like 1200 BC, that shit rocked. But
right.
Nowadays I don't know how many people are rocking with the Iliad or the Odyssey.
Right.
Although the Odyssey is coming out in theaters this year, Christopher Nolan.
Oh, so there's a whole rebirth coming.
There's a rebirth. I own a copy of the book. I've been meaning to read it, and I've gotten through maybe like 5 pages.
I have both of them. And I've skipped around, and I'm like, I'm gonna need a debrief on this here. But it's wonderful stuff. Homer. Will's got his hand raised.
Well, I was just gonna put it out here that I'm better than both of you. I've read the Odyssey. I've read it front to back.
Oh my God.
Great story. It's a great story of Odysseus and his travels home to Greece.
Yeah. Go back home after the war. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, that's very cool.
And as the story of Odysseus travels back to Greece, this story is not as great because it's about Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel traveling away from Genesis. So
heart-wrenching.
And kind of cool, but yeah, both you guys are too much. Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. I'm gonna I had you full screen, it's the best, but I do have to check out. Oh, so still got All right, let's keep doing this.
Let's keep doing it.
Keep it going.
Okay, so the music's dramatic, and that was we segued on the drama, but we're painting a picture, man, and they paint pictures, and it's wonderful. It's like fairy tale kind of landscapes, a lot of landscape stuff. Gabriel is describing landscapes, and then Colin kind of continued it for some period of time after Lamb Lies Down on Broadway in 1974. So these are the things.
It wasn't just almost theatrical. It really was theatrical. I know you mentioned, and I know I'm quite familiar with the very early Genesis concerts, where if you didn't realize you were coming to see a band, you would think you were seeing a play. Peter Gabriel doing costume changes throughout the show.
Free Man and the flowers.
Crazy wardrobe. Oh yeah. I mean, a sight to behold.
Will, if you could, so these are the early days, and we're going to progress relatively quickly. Will, can you look up Peter Gabriel? Peter Gabriel Genesis and images, and you'll see these things that Braden and I are talking about. It come up immediately. I've looked it up 100 times.
Okay.
Yeah, it's some freaky stuff.
Costumes he was in during these years, and
Yeah.
he really, yeah.
And all the audience as well. Feel free to, don't leave, but on a different device, search up Peter Gabriel Genesis so you can see what we're talking about.
All right, bring me in, Phil.
Hey, while you're okay, while you're doing that, thank you. We didn't say what's the deal, what's the housekeeping. Like and subscribe.
That's right.
Like and
Already,
subscribe. Hit
already smash that like button.
Yeah. And if you hit, like Will said last week, if you hit the notification button, it lets you know when we're doing it. So it's a lot of fun. So Will got some stuff. I got to back out. I have to back out from full screen to see the stage. Oh man. This is gonna kill.
Oh, awesome.
This is Peter Gabriel. Yeah. Oh my God, the flower guy. Here. Let me see that. Yeah. These are the costumes that Gabriel had. Now these are high end towards the end. Yeah, that guy. I forgot. I remember the song in the past. These are outfits this guy that Gabriel wore. I hit another one. That same one. Oh yeah, look at the face. And they got excited. Yeah, hit that one where he looks like the black and white below it. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Very theatrical. Oh, you got it. Oh goodness. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah. It was nonstop. So my brother fell in love with him for that reason, for the theater and the Gabriel-esque. And when Gabriel left Genesis, my brother just latched on to Gabriel, turned me on, and then I became just an immense fan of Gabriel separately. And we're kind of clipping through a part that's going to come up later, but I can just say it now and I can skip it later. I became this like huge Gabriel fan in 84, 85. And there's a live album called Gabriel Plays Live. And it truly is in my top 10 records of all time. I think I still have it. I think Gabriel Plays Live. So, but this show's not only about Peter, but so we won't go in. I won't go chase the album down. But I was a huge fan, and ended up culminating in seeing him in '93 with the So album, or I think it was the So album.
Well, So was '86, so it might have been Us in '92.
It was Us. Us came out in '92. It was Us in '92. And they were doing Steam and all that. Yeah. And we might talk about the show later, but you get the gist. So Gabriel stuff so that we can move on to the band and Phil.
I mean, one thing I will say, when it comes to Genesis, I'm a firm believer in Peter Gabriel supremacy. Phil Collins, awesome drummer, awesome singer. But I think that the songwriting that Peter Gabriel brought to the band, it was the best product the band was able to produce. And of course, as bands get more popular, they make maybe more poppy stuff. I mean, it happened to Yes. It happened to a lot of the prog rock bands back in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe that progression still would have happened without Peter Gabriel leaving. But I also, without knowing the full story, believe that's probably part of the reason why he left. Is that they were probably veering in that direction and he didn't like that. So I think that Peter Gabriel So is better than probably anything Phil Collins did in his solo career. And I think that just goes to show his, how quintessential he himself, Peter Gabriel himself, is at creating music. That, Phil Collins has got those great hits, In the Air Tonight, and even, Another Day in Paradise. I love
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
But
Epic.
I think from an album perspective, I
Soul
think
of his own records.
Peter Gabriel, I mean, just
Yeah.
what a storyteller.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Braden, thank you for that.
Oh, and we got a counterpoint that Joey
Counterpoint.
Kubitz, Phil
Oh,
Collins released the Tarzan soundtrack in 5 different languages in 1999. One of the only artists to do the rendition in multiple languages themselves, and he believes Phil Collins is the GOAT. So,
go to. He's the goat.
very contentious opinion, I know. And I know Patrick Bateman would also side with Joey,
Oh
but
my.
I'm on the good guy side, I'm not gonna be out here murdering women because I think Phil Collins is superior. But who's to say?
Wow. Okay. That was a strong. Will, what do you think about that? That back and forth in bringing in our the cube mate? And go ahead.
Now that 1999 Tarzan movie, that soundtrack,
I can't wait to hear this. But keep going.
I will never appreciate it as much as Joey does for the fact that Joey appreciates it that much. I just won't do it. I refuse.
I mean, I'd also say that we were a little bit too young. We were little babies. We weren't even alive when it came out.
We were
And
not alive.
that makes it more difficult to appreciate something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
how do we connect
hell,
to that?
the Cars soundtrack was absolute cinema for me as a child. Life is a Highway,
Rascal Flatts.
one of the greatest songs of all time, if you were to ask me as a child, So I understand that great bond that he has. And I mean, Phil Collins, oh, no slouch. He's an awesome, incredible musician himself. I'm just here to stake my claim on the Peter Gabriel flag.
And I agree with Braden. Because me and Braden are co-patriots when it comes to our beliefs in our age group, especially. Our age group makes a big difference. And like you said, like Joey just likes unk stuff, and we don't. So
that's exactly what it is.
But Joey, it's a great opinion to have, and that is a very cool fact. Now, I don't know if you know this, but there is an artist out there that is a little multi-language, multicultural, different language, multiple language. Bad Bunny is able to sing Spanish and sprinkle a little bit of English in there. So if you ever want to check him out, Joey, I think you would be quite surprised.
I'll also throw this out here that the new Rosalia album, she sings in like 7 different languages.
Wow.
There's like German, Spanish, English, Japanese, Latin, Portuguese, 1 or 2 others in there. I mean, I don't know. If we're talking about multi-linguists, over here, Rosalia might give Phil Collins a run for his money.
Multicultural. But go ahead. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. That's really it.
I agree. And then we have artists of our day like Charlie XCX, who only sings in 1 language.
That is true.
And I mean, things change. Things are different. But
she's just living that life. She can't help it,
Things are different, but Peter Gabriel stays the same. So
that's right. That's how it is. It is so.
Wow.
All right, so bring us back here. We're drowning. We're flopping in the water.
But that was profound. That you can segue into the newer stuff so quickly. It's really neat, man. I mean, it's dimensionally. It's like we went from like 85, 89, like modern times. As long as it took me to take a leak. All right.
Well, we're not done. We're not done talking about the past, Phil. Don't worry. We still got more to talk about.
What was Joey's final thing? Say on I don't have my glasses here. I don't know what happened to them. I'll find them here, but I think I took them out. But
Well, I think the main conclusion is that Joey's
Sam said it all. He's
Unk.
His
But don't forget about King Von. Rest in peace.
Right. That's a fave. And I do have some music I want to play here. But so we're gonna keep going. We'll drop back into it. I'm not quite sure why I took my glasses in there and didn't bring them back.
Phil,
they're on your head, Phil.
Phil, on your head.
Now
they're on your face.
Gotcha. Thank you. When I put the headphones on, then I got an apparatus on my head, and
it's a massive mistake. I lose my glasses on my face all the time.
Joey's gonna love that one. Okay. We're getting back into it. So, Braden, you'll appreciate this, but you will appreciate this immensely as a musician in your past orchestral string environment. So it turns out Trick of the Tail becomes my favorite album because I just remember the songs on it. And I really listened to a live performance that had those songs, and it was a live record. And that was my favorite record. But a lot of the songs, the best songs came from Trick of the Tail. And that was the first record. So Braden, you'll appreciate this. It was the first record after Peter, but they started writing the songs together. And here's the transition. They started writing the songs together, and Peter Gabriel's After Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, they were writing the songs for Trick of the Tail, and Peter Gabriel's wife had a complicated pregnancy, and Peter's like, I'm out for a while, and it ended up becoming that all worked out fine thing, but it ended up becoming, hey guys, I'm gonna take some time off, and the band had to continue on without him. So it was a real amicable situation, which is really phenomenal. But on Trick of the Tail, a song called I wrote down Volcano, but it's dancing on the edge of a volcano, or something like dancing on
a volcano. The introduction song.
So check this out. Time signature, rhythm, people. This Park would love this. Any rhythm person. But I looked up what the sequence. So it's odd time signature. So in addition to being dramatic, there was a lot of odd time signatures rhythmically. 4/4 being common time, and then 4 and 6/8 that we're all used to. Everybody's in church, everybody's in radio. It's typical stuff. But there's a sequence in that song, Braden. Check it out, both of you. It's mainly 7/8, but there's a sequence that goes in sequence, and I don't know if they do it once or twice. It goes to 6/4 time, 11/16 time, which is really bizarre and difficult.
Yeah.
And Marco Miniman just did a song in 11/16, and he explains it and breaks it down. If you're Facebook people, you would know that, both of you, but you don't, so we can't go into that. But so it goes from 6/4 to 11/16 to 4/4 to 11/16 to 7/4 to 7/8 back to 11/16 and then to 7/4 before it was. It's a sequence in. That's what they're doing rhythmically. It is like unfucking believable. And Collins had a lot to do with that shit, believe me, because he had to play it.
Yeah.
What do you say?
That sounds like a technical nightmare, and counting that is very difficult. And as Phil mentioned, for the 100 people on the planet of Earth that still own Facebook, Phil has posted this on Facebook. So if you're able to find that app at the bottom of the App Store, you can go ahead and follow Phil Thomas on Facebook, and he will have posted that. So so just keep that in mind, everybody.
Oh, well, that was wonderful, man. Oh my God. But so that's what we're dealing with here. Musically, melodically, harmonically, rhythmically, these guys, it's like it's really kind of like fusion music, but really it's prog rock. It was the early prog rock, right? It's
for sure.
Prog, short for progressive rock for folks that may not know, and fell in that category. And boy, I've been some and same stuff, odd time signatures a lot of times, yes, a couple times, twice. Hey, Will, though, we'll save that one for like 6 months down the road, but I'll have to do an episode on Yes, just like I have to do one on Zeppelin. Yes was one of my favorite bands back in the late 70s and into the 80s. So we'll end that there.
Well, I have a great tie-in. A great tie-in to all that, Phil. Which is, I remember about maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I came over to your desk after I think we were talking about prog rock. It actually probably was a couple days after that night that Genesis happened. And I told you my top 3 prog rock songs are Shine On You Crazy Diamond by Pink Floyd, parts 1 through 9, if you're going to lump it all in.
The whole
2 is Close to the Edge by Yes. What an incredible song.
You did.
And 3, off A Trick of the Tail, is Ripples. Ripples, man. Wow. Ripples is my favorite Genesis song.
Me too.
It gets me going, and the feels on the chorus, and then that whole breakdown in the middle. I mean, it's just one hell of a song. And I also believe, A Trick of the Tail, partially because of that, but Dance on a Volcano and Los Endos, it's also probably my dad's favorite Genesis album, which a lot of my Genesis knowledge came through him initially. So shout out to Mr. Rainey.
Cool. Mr. Rainey.
But Los Endos kind of takes a lot of the motifs of all the songs and throws them together, and
it's like awesome, a montage.
Yeah. So I love A Trick of the Tail just as much as the next guy, which happens to be Phil right here.
It does.
But just thought that was a good segue.
So it's a perfect segue because it turns out those songs were my favorite songs. Even though there were some after that, there was and then there were 3 because of UCF and college. I was going through a rough time, and that album really helped me get through that. But on Trick of the Tail, it's Dance on the Volcano and Tangled, but Squonk. So Ripples recently is the one I was listening to the most, but Squonk. So this is perfect. I have a video of, and what I do is I search people that play their music and not the original band or original recordings or live performances of the actual band. So that's what I've had to do to skirt the obvious concerns with the copyright issues. So I have a version of Squonk. I think it is, but we'll pull it up. But it's on this record. But this is our favorite, Squonk, and Squonk's my favorite Genesis record or song, and then Ripples is second.
Wow.
And we won't go into the reasons why. Our poor dear Minnie who passed away. A Trick of the Tail, title cut, and then Los Endos that you just described. That's the record. But So mind you, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 songs on an album, right? So you're going 8 songs on a record. That was like the Beatles back in like '66, where it would like in 15 minutes it's over because the songs are quick. But their songs, some of these songs can go on for 5, 6, 7 minutes, and
Even
in
8.
the ballads. Go ahead, Brad.
I was saying even 8. I mean,
8, yeah.
the shortest song is 4 minutes and 35 seconds,
Wow.
which would probably be the longest song on one of those early Beatles records you're talking to. So
I think I can pull this up. Oh, so I'm gonna what I'm gonna play is just so guys. I was in this endeavor to check out, like, I just go to cover bands for whatever the band is, since the AC/DC Bendig episode debacle where it got blocked. It's the only episode that got blocked. So I won't do that again. And I'm trying to. So I look for people doing covers of the stuff, and check it out. Will Braden, there's a band that pops up first, and they're so good. I was like, I can't hardly tell the difference. It's these guys must have a Justice cover band, and well, without a doubt they do. And I'm gonna look them up, and I want to go see these guys because they're so good. But the recordings on YouTube for them doing these Genesis covers were so good that, and it's not it's not AI fake or anything. They show them on video, and they're playing in their little studio things, and it sounded so close. Like, I don't know if I think YouTube would pick it up as the original. It was that close. It was amazing. I'm gonna find these guys. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm gonna find them. I'm gonna go see them live. They are so effing good. So here's a guy doing. So this captures all the earlier stage stuff in this performance. In the cage, Braden will in the cage.
Okay.
Yeah. It's who says performed by. It's gonna probably go into it. It's probably gonna start playing it. And I queued it up to 3 minutes where it starts kicking in because it's one of those long 8-minute songs. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But these guys are covering In the Cage, one of my favorite. Squonking, but this is fucking awesome. You hear that?
Yeah.
It's really close without being too loud.
They're really close with that keyboard.
Records full of press my skin, white label don't sound within to pass. Don't summer, don't sweat, don't sour. Tell myself that I'm not here, drawing in the liquid bed. Falling, strong compression, mind is stars, shoes of shell.
You hear okay?
Get me out of this game. Find self-control, find the sound in my soul. And shine, moving it, brings the moment. My sister returns as the light burns. My spirit goes down.
You don't hear a lot of drums.
Love me tight, live to try, truly strike, something I'm burning, on my journey, that's just how real the white can do, steady now, it's all the room, my distraction, feel the rapture, in the cage,
In the Cage. I think we get the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a cover band doing kind of conceptually all the early stuff, and that
I mean,
was
that was from The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, which was out right before Trick of the Tail, which we mentioned was Peter Gabriel's last.
Yeah.
Some people, not myself, have compared it to The Wall in a sense of just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that album is like an hour and 20 minutes. It's like this massive
double album,
concept,
double.
you know, four sides,
Keep talking.
massive album.
Yeah. Keep talking.
I don't know if, I mean, it references Broadway. I mean, I know The Wall had a Broadway adaptation, or maybe not Broadway officially, I'm not sure, but they certainly have done plays of The Wall. I'm curious.
Have they?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it came out as like an album and a play, I think. I think there was like a movie, which was just like a recording of the play slash performance. And I'm pretty sure people have performed The Wall. I don't know if it's been on Broadway. I'll search it up. But regardless, my question is, could the same be said for The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway? Was that something that might have been performed as a play, just like other early Genesis? And arguably, you don't even need to. Just performing the songs of an early Genesis album in any of the theatrics, which I know there's actually quite a few Genesis cover bands that like to stick to that early stuff and make it into that theatrical performance. My dad and stepmom actually saw one last year. I don't know if they knew that they were signing up for that, and my stepmom is more of a Phil Collins type, so it was a little bit wild for her and even my dad because it was some early stuff. But yeah, I'm curious if with that connection, I'm curious if The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway ever was done on Broadway or as a
Broadway. Yeah. Well, they do it on Broadway. You know, the one that's the only reference. That's the only, and you don't get any reference to Broadway like in New York. But this is my original LP.
Nice.
I kept 40 or 30 records, and this is one of them. I had to. It's the original Lamb Lies Down. And here's what it looks like when you open it up. But I know that's pretty obscure. It's a lot of writing. You know what? I don't think I've read all that. There's a shit ton of writing. And it would tell the story. It probably tells the whole story. Here's the backside. But this is from original. I only kept 30 records or so. And then we'll touch on this later. But we already talked about Peter. But I had to keep Peter. Gabriel Plays Live. That's one of my favorite records of all time. Gabriel Plays Live.
Nice.
That's original. And man, the inside of this thing, actually, it's not the inside, but the sleeves have all these pictures of Peter, man. With so that'll be the after thing. Braden, remind me. I'll show you the sleeve pictures. There's these insane great pictures of Peter Gabriel. Insane. It's yeah. So content here.
I have a question, Phil, because I was looking at the note sheet, and I know we've been talking a lot about Peter Gabriel, and I think we could talk forever about him, but I think there's one last thing that we haven't really talked about that I've read on this sheet.
There's others. We haven't got the discography or the solo career.
Yeah, I mean, Firth the Fifth. I think we were in a roundabout way talking about their discography, but you called out Firth the Fifth, which in my re-listening of a couple Genesis albums today, that one stood out to me again, and I was like, what an awesome song. I mean, the guitar at the end, whoo, that was some great stuff. So I don't know if you had more thoughts on that song there, because I know you wrote that one down specifically.
I did. Like usual, I'll sometimes fast forward through the like slower intro things that take like a minute and a half and stuff. The meat of the Fifth of Firth is it just captures everything about Gabriel or Genesis with Gabriel. That's all that comes to mind at the moment. I'm not looking at the sheet, but
Well, I think you just said
fantastic.
it was dramatic.
Dramatic.
And you talked about the live album and
Yeah,
Afterglow.
yeah,
I will share this. There
yeah.
is,
You're on to the discography that
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
The last thing I'll share about Firth the Fifth that I think is worth noting
Yeah,
is there's a website that people use to rate albums called Rate Your Music, or
yeah.
RYM. And on that website, it is their highest scoring song, and it ranks 342nd of all time. Songs.
Fifth of
It was
Firth.
Firth the Fifth. Yes, it's
Yeah, I
their.
have.
It is the highest rated Genesis song, and
Huh.
it's 342nd of all time. Out of all of the songs in human history that are online, that's where it ranks, which
Wow.
I thought was really impressive once I saw that earlier today.
Wow. Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, there's a lot of people who recognize Genesis as one of the best bands of all time, and that's one of the best songs as well. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to shout that out. Shout out the online music community of music nerds like myself.
Yeah.
I think,
And so I butchered it because I'm looking at the exact spot you are, but yeah, Firth the Fifth. It's it's it captures much like the medley you just heard, or one the song you just heard in the cage. Much like that, but we're gonna carry on to. Can't go into seconds out. I have to. So before we go into this, I have discography and solo careers. And the solo career stuff I thought was super cool, and everybody wants to check that out because Collins had such a big solo career stuff. Um, we're gonna go into solo careers.
oh,
Yeah. So Collins, of course, had the huge. So what occurred actually is Gabriel spun off on his own and did a number. This seems very Gabriel centric, and I don't mean it to be, but man, there's probably something inherent in that. But so Gabriel had his thing, and I have it down here. But Phil Collins, man, right, just took off. Um, Created a sound as a producer. His drum sound, all the in the 80s with Miami Vice and stuff. Now they did the songs, the three songs they used for on the Miami Vice episode, they were not written during Miami Vice. They preceded that. It was Collins solo songs. In the Air Tonight, the famous song. And then there was a second one. Braden, I think you mentioned the second one. Somebody did at work.
was it Another Day in Paradise?
Yeah, yes, Another Day in Paradise. There were. It's interesting that these 25 to 30-year-olds have these recollections of certain things from the Tarzan movie with Joey to 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 what stuff Will had heard, but the stuff in but the Miami Vice songs were just in the air tonight. That was I think the famous one, and of course they had done that song prior to that. The band had done it, and they used it in the show, and of course it's one of my favorite shows. But solo career, Phil Collins, Face Value. In the air tonight was on Face Value. In Face Value, Face Value came out in 1981. And then, but my favorite solo Collins record was "Hello, Hello, I Must Be Going."
Classic.
So I had and that was released in '82. But Will, you'll appreciate Brother Bud, dear Brother Bud. It was his birthday today, and but anyway, I went up to see him up in Atlanta. It was kind of a solo trip. I went by myself, and I was hanging out, and I stayed with him for a weekend. You know, go Friday, you know, leave Sunday, and man, 82, 83 in Atlanta, parties ensued, and man,
Sure.
ATL, huh?
parties ensued. ATL parties ensued, and we went to clubs like Illusion and 688, and but anyway, back at his house, it's a typical mid whatever construction, wood floors, and they had this cool stereo with the wood floors. And man, when you put on "Hello, I Must Be Going" album, it was records then. Records, we, you know, I cannot believe it's true. Whatever that song's called, or whatever it's actually named,
That's
you
what it's
put that
called.
song, you put that song on in that room, and man, place fucking vibrates. I mean, the wood floors are shaking, and that I love that record. That's why it's my favorite. And that's that album also had "I Don't Care Anymore."
Classic.
Collins, "I don't care anymore" with the big drums. Right, everybody remembers that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then there was "No Jacket Required."
Mm-hmm.
In that the little commercial, Susudio and "One More Night," ballad, love ballad, and Susudio. That was 85, and certainly that was when Collins was kind of getting more poppy, as far as being, you know. But he was on fire in the recording industry. A lot of people. Robert Plant's first record, Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, his first solo record is, I think, was in '87, and I saw the show in freaking Tampa. Um, but Collins produced it and played drums on Robert Plant's first record.
Nice.
And that's the kind of stuff he was doing. He was just so entrenched. His sound was entrenched. It was on TV. It was in movies. It wasn't all him. People started copying it, and you know, and man, he was so important and profound in that whole world. But
And that's how he ended up doing, you know, an incredible soundtrack for Tarzan.
bang,
Bang.
fast forward a couple of 5 years or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah. These guys are good.
Phil, I'm not sure if you saw this, but I might have my
Yes,
own.
I love the reference. Thank you. Bring me back down to earth.
Phil, I'll be speaking behind this for the
Oh,
rest of the episode.
God.
But for $1 in Philly, they were selling records.
Oh
And
my,
who knows the quality of this? But, you know, it's a little torn.
wow.
But I have my own Phil Collins record.
Oh my gosh. That is
Uh,
so cool.
I'm a little bit scared to play it because, you know, who knows what state it's in. But yeah, I remembered I had this, so I went out and grabbed it.
Huh.
Once I inevitably get my record player for all the records that I have.
Right, right. No, Braden, you know that the record player I own, it's a Victrola, and
Yes.
it's a record player, a little basic unit. Um, it was less than $100, and
Yeah.
I love it because when on the porch by myself, it's all I need, man. $75, get one. What the
I might
fuck?
get.
Well, give me some shit.
I don't own a
I've been
single record nowadays.
I've been looking for the right one. Actually, I haven't really been looking. I'll be completely honest. But
We talked about that. Yeah, you
I
saw mine.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I don't mean to harp on that, but
Oh yeah.
let's go back to the discography. So
Yo.
The third solo record was called No Jacket Required. They had Susudio, and he was starting to go a little more commercial. But guys, there's a great story. Will, you're gonna love the story. Joey, you're gonna love the story. No Jack. The title of the album is No Jacket Required. And what happened was Phil Collins and Robert Plant were hanging out together, and I can't. I don't know if it was New York City or Chicago. My first recollection, I thought the story was from Chicago, where they were hanging out, but it could have been New York City. They were in some big city, and they were going to go into a club. The two of them are hanging out, Robert Plant and Phil, mano a mano, walking around, talking music. They're both English, and one was from Genesis and one was from Led Zeppelin. And certainly that would have been if you could be a fly on the wall, that'd be a fun time to hear all that. But they try to go into a club, and Phil Collins doesn't have he's got like a jacket, like a light jacket for cold weather, but the club insisted that like you have to have a jacket, like a dinner jacket, and Plant had, and Phil didn't, and they let Plant into the club, and they did not let Phil Collins in the club. I heard another version of that where they said fuck that. They just went down to a store, jacket, and came back and went in together. But bottom line is that's what the title's about. They weren't going to let Phil in. Phil Collins into a club because he didn't have the right jacket, and he's with Robert Plant. The title of the album. It's a true story.
So Phil, it seems like Mr. Phil Thomas is who we're looking at now.
Yeah.
Phil Thomas has taken a lot of inspiration from Mr. Philip Collins because not only is Phil Thomas a drummer, but he also more than likely would not be let into a place for wearing the wrong clothes.
It turns out there's an example of that.
There is. I'm sure there's more than one. So.
There probably is, but the main one was the black leather pants in front of whiskey. That's the main one. I was like, no, I didn't try to stay because the line, it would take an hour to even get to the door guy. So that was a factor.
Well, when you get to the front and they go, I'm sorry, sir, you're not wearing the wrong pants. That's when you go, I'll just take my fucking pants off then. Will you let me in with no pants? I mean, we're talking whiskey a go-go. So.
Okay. We segue. And then, so those are the main, his first lead. William, thank you. And just go back and listen to the Van Halen shows. Just great stories about that. Face Value, Hello Must Be Going, and No Jacket Required. Love Phil Collins solo. Love it. Always good. Yeah, and I told the story there. Okay, go. I got smart and put this stuff out. So we won't go on about Peter Gabriel but discography because we kind of showed the album, but if you can hear now Gabriel Plays Live was recorded a long time ago. But it is my favorite Gabriel album. It starts out, it's live, of course. It starts out, and I think it was in 83 or something, or, man. Thank God I nailed that. It starts out with a song, and my brother told me about it, but he didn't see him, I don't think, I'm pretty sure. But he told me about it. He said, hey, in this live record, when they come in and you hear this drum, Gabriel was hugely into African music and drums and influences. And when I saw him in '93, there was a huge African influence in his music on stage as well. But the opening song is shit, I might not remember. But it starts out with these drums, and you hear these drums.
The Rhythm of the Heat.
Rhythm of the Heat. Thank you, Rhythm of the Heat, opening song on the live record, and it's live, and you come to find out, and I think my brother told me this part. He said, when you hear that whole drum thing before the song starts, they come in, Gabriel, the whole band, Tony Levin, Gabriel, David Rhodes, they're coming in with drums with the Jerry Marotta, the drummer. They come in from the back of the place, coming in like you've seen somebody along the way, a performer, where they come in from the back and it freaks you out. They're coming in with that drum thing. They're coming in from the back, like playing drums while they're kind of marching, getting to the stage. That's the whole opening sequence of Rhythm of the Heat. And yeah, but the rest of the shit, I Have the Touch, and oh my god, it goes on and on. But so that's Gabriel's solo stuff, and I saw him live, and you know that.
And he's still releasing music. He released an album 2023,
Yeah.
and it says he's planning on releasing an album this year. Who knows?
Yeah. So now clip to something that's going to be surprising. Mike Rutherford and Mike and the Mechanics. So during that time in the 80s, 87, 88, late 80s, possibly early 90s, but more late 80s, Mike and the Mechanics came out. And Mike Rutherford started a band as solo. They all kind of started doing solo projects. It was like totally accepted. And they were hugely accepted, and the music was great. All I Need Is a Miracle. All I need, you know, and the singers that Mike Rutherford got. Paul Young sang that song, All I Need Is a Miracle, but he had another singer called Paul Carrick, and Paul Carrick came from a band, and I don't remember what it was, but Paul Carrick was a fucking incredible English singer that did great things. But he was on Mike Rutherford's Mike and the Mechanics records, and I hear about it in the living years. In the living years, and it's Paul Carrick, and it's fantastic, but the vocals are great. But Mike Rutherford had his own solo career, and I wanted to add that. Cool.
Just loads of talent. OG Genesis.
Loads of talent, and they reached that level, and then so picture Mike Rutherford like going like, hey, going in the studio, going, hey, I'm going to do a record, and the musicians would be crawling out of the woodwork to be on that. Man, I know that for a fact. Only from my history of reading and not from experience. But those guys, they come out of the woodwork. Hey, you need a drummer? Then Chris Slade's available. And man, and then you get these like incredible records. Rutherford had already written material for the records or the record at a time to go do that. But here's to Mike Rutherford. Yeah. Okay. So we did the solo careers.
Yeah. I think all that's left really is.
I finally came on Dramatic 5th of First. I didn't reach that point until just now. Yeah.
I think we still have Duke and On to discuss, and then that might be the end.
Dude. And then there were three.
And then there were three.
Let me give you my brief rundown, and guys, let me know quickly if I've already said this. When Gabriel left, it was without Gabriel, and they still had Steve Hackett. And then eventually, shortly after, after Trick of the Tail live and stuff, and not live, but sooner or later, Steve Hackett left. and then there were three, and that that record meant a lot to me because I had moved to UCF and I had broken up with my high school girlfriend, and that record kind of got me through a real tough patch. And boy, I put some time into that thing in the car and at home and in the apartment, my new apartment at UCF. And that record was especially meaningful to me. And it's called "And Then There Were Three." And the album cover is really cool.
Yeah.
So we're gonna show some pictures. Hopefully, Will's got those. But if you could type in "and then there were three," and like images, and it's the album cover. And it's this really cool album cover. God, I love that album cover. And then I hope to show the 3 or 4 I sent you. And also,
okay, bring me in here.
I love this. He's got it figured out. Man, this guy. And I have to blow it up to see it. Yeah, that's the album cover. That's it. Yeah, look at that. It's so so check it out. It's I am actually I studied it certainly and even inebriated at times in 80, 81. But it's not them. It's there's 2 guys, the one smoking a cigarette, the guy on the left with the white thing. And I think there's a car going by on the right, but I never figured that out. But I love that record cover. And then there were 3. And folks, give it a listen, man. But man, especially if you've gone through a breakup or something, man, get ready to cry. But then let's show. So that's fascinating. It's just a fascinating cover. But here's my pictures. So this is great. We probably showed some of these at the start. This is the original band, the original 5. That's Gabriel with short hair on the right in the black t-shirt. That would be below is Tony Banks with long hair. To his left, crouching is Phil Collins. To above him is Mike Rutherford, and that would be Steve Hackett with kind of the
goatee.
The goatee. Yeah, that's the original. But man, those guys, they lived and breathed. Hey guys, I remember a story. Yeah, we'll go into this. You keep that up, but I'll tell you the story. I remember stories just like Yes. Genesis had similar stories. They were in vans in England. They would just get the biggest van they could, and they would just go to the next town, and they were just playing the next town, and the goal was to get to London and play big venues. That's all it was about.
Nice.
And they did it, and they paid their dues. They were humping gear. I'm pretty sure it was them. Where somebody's sleeping in the back of the van, or 2 of them, like with PA equipment and shit. And you're in a fucking van, and you're going to the next town, man, and you're sleeping because you just played that night, and you're going to the next place. Those guys, they fucking work their asses off. Yes, work their asses off too, and really all those English bands work their asses off, but all the U.S. bands work their asses off. Aerosmith at some point is traveling around and don't have roadies, early on. That's how it goes. But yeah, so this is Gabriel. Man, this would have been with Genesis. Braden might be able to help me out a little bit time wise. This would have been like, in the midst of prior to, after
early 70s, probably.
Well, not early 70s, because he would have been with the band and they didn't start.
This is solo.
Is it?
I don't know.
No. This is with Genesis. This is Gabriel with Genesis for sure.
Early
He's
70s would
like
be
24 there. Yeah. No,
yeah.
I could. Well, okay. Braden doesn't know the time frame. All right. It's approximately. So anyway, that was. Let's suffice it to say that was Gabriel with Genesis back in the day when he had long hair, and those. That's when he started putting those costumes and shit, and they, he was certainly a lot for them eventually, but and this could culminate into my favorite shot of Collins. Man, yeah, let's behold there a little bit. Well, don't that. I'll explain that one. But so there was a couple of concerts. What time frame are we at? 1:40. Holy shit! It's like uh, there were a couple of concerts. There are a couple of concerts on YouTube that I dug into and I kept searching. This goes back like 6 months ago or something. I binged Genesis like 6 months ago, and I found two concerts that were my favorites. And I would take like live shots during the performance of, and this was one of those occasions. And it's Collins at his height of just killing it. With it would have been what, I don't know. You'd have to look at him and tell me what year it was, but um, 80s, suffice it to say. But I love that shot. And there's Phil, and it's kind of a tribute to him too, because boy, the man struggled with some health issues. But yeah, that's just great. What do you think? I don't want to be the only one talking here.
Great photos.
And so that's fantastic. This is perfect. I showed this to somebody at work, and they're like, "Oh my god, what is that?" And it's Collins kissing Peter Gabriel. Those guys were like brothers, man. They love each other so much. This is just some late day thing. I recognize Gabriel's look completely in that point, and Phil is obviously, and those receding hairlines galore. I don't know what's up with that, but I just thought that was wonderful. And there's no sexual reference whatsoever between these two guys. They fucking lived together and played together and traveled together for 10 years and a long time ago. So that's all that was about.
Like kissing your brother on the cheek.
It'd be me and some bud, but it wouldn't look quite like that. But yeah, cool. Well,
all righty.
Hell yeah. Well, hell yeah.
Phil, is there any? I know we got up to, and then there were three, and I don't want to have us run too much longer, but is there anything you wanted to talk about from Duke to Abacab, Genesis, Invisible Touch? I mean, anything there? I know personally, I'll just quickly say, Duke is the only album I've listened to after, and then there were three. And I'm a big fan of it. I enjoy it quite a bit. I mean, given that A Trick of the Tail is also kind of a Peter Gabriel album with the writing, this is arguably the only true Phil Collins solo type Genesis album that I've listened to.
Yeah.
But I still appreciate it quite a bit. I mean, Misunderstanding was a massive hit. Turn It On Again, another big hit.
Turn It On Again.
I think Cul-de-sac is great.
Yeah, Cul-de-sac
Travels is awesome. Behind the Lines, just the intro song. I mean, Man of Our Times.
Yeah.
A lot of great songs on here.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, did I ever play the song? I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would, man, if you could, I could blast through a medley of every song or most of the songs he just mentioned. Duke was great, and I love that. It turns out, so guys, And then there were three, but especially Duke. Duke back in the day in the car with the killer stereo system. The chicks loved it. The chicks dug it. They loved it. They loved it. It was great. And this is my college days where I was with anybody.
No misunderstandings in the car.
Oh man, yeah. It was,
You were not left in the rain. You weren't waiting there for hours.
Right. But yeah, it was a big hit with the girls loved it because they were kind of love songs, really. Yeah. Duke was kind of like a lot of love songs and ballads and stuff. Not all, but they were still. So at Duke, Braden, give me this. And folks, we really could consider this kind of finished, and we might kind of just carry on here. I like to call the show and just go, hey, you can hang out if you want to. So that would be that point. Well, what do you think? It was a lot of stuff.
The log right here.
Yeah.
It was. I learned a lot about Genesis that I definitely did not know. Never like too tagged into Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel's. Well, I get
epic career.
No, I would know more about Genesis than I would about their own solo careers. So.
Yeah. Except Collins and the stuff he did in the media or movies and so forth, and yeah, and so that's it. But we're gonna keep talking because we got to talk about Duke. Where were we on that, Braden? When I said
you were just saying love songs, and you could do a medley of it, and the women loved it, but can't recall what else you were going to say about that one.
That's probably as much. Yeah. So anyway, let's shoot the shit, guys. What the hell's going on? Well, what are you going to do tonight? You crashing? What time is it?
It is getting close to my bedtime, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm an old man, Phil. You don't remember that?
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, I know we talked so much about Peter Gabriel, but Don't Give Up with Kate Bush. What a song that was.
Gabriel, yeah.
I'm a big Kate Bush fan. So
Bush, and then he did a song with Paula Cole, and there was a whole controversy behind that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the controversy?
So it was the show I saw with the tour, with the Us tour. So when Gabriel set out to do Us, he had done the song with Paula Cole on the record. And when I saw him live, she was there. She did the show, and she would do like backup vocal stuff. He would experiment. Peter was always in experimenting. And a female vocalist, Kate Bush, like you said, from the first song you mentioned. What was the first song?
Don't Give Up? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. And so I could be fuzzy on these details but no, I know there was two different records, and Kate Bush did that one song with him. Paula Cole did the other, and so he brought her touring. So she went on and had a hit after that, and the thing was, it appeared to be that she didn't really give Gabriel credit for getting her started. And maybe that's a male ego thing. I can't imagine Gabriel would give a shit, but he could. You never know. Gabriel's like Kenny Stabler from fucking Raiders or something. Where you really, but I doubt it. But there's a controversy that a subcontext where she had done a record and got big. The record got big. It was a record. The song got big, and there was no credit given to like, hey, Gabriel got me started. But it was likely you know what? It was likely the media and back then, guys, I was reading Rolling Stone magazine and I was finding this shit out from Rolling Stone magazine. You're not listening. There's no fucking social media. There's nothing. True story. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. And strangely, after that, given a year or two, never heard about Paul Cole again. But Gabriel kept going. So here's one thing we didn't cover and you don't know. Gabriel started in the 90s a studio called Real World Studios. I'm not exactly sure where it is, but Real World Studios. And he has produced especially African bands and African musicians and records, but basically international artists in that studio. And this goes back to, I think, the late 80s. I remember reading about this shit in like 89 and hearing little bits and catching a little clip on whoever was interviewing him. And I had a video of one of the drummers, Manu Katché, who I saw live on the concert I saw. So the us concert I saw, Manu Katché was playing drums. So in Real World Studios, Manu, they do a little feature on him. And I'm a drummer. I'm a fledgling drummer at the time. Fledgling. It was like 1990. And of course, 3 years later, I see him live and I see the guy play. And he does this like video just in Gabriel's studio. It's a big, must be a big fucking thing. I never really looked into it other than it's likely in England, but it might not be. Manu just doing this solo thing. He goes, "Hey, I got a solo record coming out." And this guy's from Africa. Like Mozambique and shit, really cool fucking shit. And it's a song, and I'm like, holy fuck, that's like incredible. The rhythms he's doing, I'm like, it's like it was so good. I have a VHS cassette of that, upstairs, but boy, I haven't put it on in a long time. But anyway, so to give you more perspective, Gabriel is just, I don't want to keep going on about Gabriel, Peter, but man, I really splintered off, and Bud got me on that track, and boy, I never let loose until I was skateboarding. In 81, I was skateboarding in front of my apartment in UCF. We had the driveway was where you park was up a little bit. And then there was like the divot, and pretty good divot, and then to the street. And I still have my skateboard, and I'd get out there and I would like blast the live Gabriel plays. Like, oh shit. Now, you get to see that now. I was playing this, and I was skateboarding in 81 at UCF to this shit. Nice. I was like a fucking huge fan. So I'll show you the back cover first, which is really cool. And it was what song was it? I'm not sure which song it was. There's only it's two of them. So, but bottom line is, this is Gabriel getting passed, like maybe doing one of the first pass around things, where they carry you around in the audience. And so this is live. It's on the album, the photos, and he's getting passed around. And I think this is like 82. So I think he was one of the first.
Yeah, early
The crowd surfing thing. But
crowd surfing.
look at his image, man. And he's singing. He's fucking like rocking the song. Whatever
Nice.
everyone was on from this record. And then these sleeves are like beautiful. Oh man. I've shown my daughter these and I showed her this and I go, she was back in ice skating and they had makeup and they really get made up and she became a makeup expert like pretty quick because her mom taught her. But then in the skate thing, she would start doing her own, at 7 or 8, 9. And then there were all these young ones coming in, and you had to help the 6, 7 year olds that are younger than you. I mean, Brooke could do the makeup and shit. It was like fucking insane. And these are wonderful fucking days, man. And so I showed her this, and I'm like, hey, let's try to duplicate that. And she like tried to duplicate it at the house.
Oh shit!
It's a
Oh my
shock.
gosh.
It's a shock the monkey. That shock the monkeys on this live. Not, but it's a shock the monkey thing.
So,
But
Braden, does this count as, or is this just flying the surface of a certain?
What?
I'm not sure.
There's a certain social concept where you paint your face a darker color.
Oh,
I'm just trying to make sure this is still flying above the radar of that.
I'm glad you're asking me as the resident expert on this topic. From personal experience, I would say I'd give him a pass.
So what he's doing, guys, Gabriel's missing the boat. It's a social commentary on evolution.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Shock the monkey, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and he did the video. Oh my god. So that's that side. Oh, and that's kind of the funniest. Well, let's show that next. It's the flip side of that. Oh yeah, I remember now. So that one, they're just bowing, and it's fine. No big deal. But so this is the bow. But then on the back of one of the sleeves is their asses in your face. It's fucking killer, man. It's the backside, and that's Monty Python kind of shit, British humor stuff. That's the front, and that's the back.
That's awesome.
And then there's one more side. Oh, and then freaky. This is Peter that is doing his shit, man. He would get he gets so theatrical. One of the popular beliefs was that Gabriel was getting so theatrical and stuff, and the band wanted to go in a different direction. And from the little interview piece I saw was Collins talking. What occurred? You'll appreciate this, Braden. What occurred was Gabriel's when after Lamb Lies Down came out, and they were writing Trick of the Tail. Gabriel's wife was pregnant, and she was going through a pregnancy like the later term, and there were complications. And Gabriel said, "Guys, I can't do this right now." And Trick of the Tail had not. They were writing it and starting to record it, and nowhere near going live with it, and so that turned into Gabriel saying, "Guys, just kind of go on." And it was kind of more amicable.
And you know what I heard? A story that I've been told by my dad.
Can you hang on?
I
got to do a smash and grab. Give me 1 sec. This will take like, I promise, 20 seconds.
Just
smash and grab. I have no idea.
I'm not even sure he's referencing there.
But I do have a story regarding this one. First of all, we can acknowledge the fact that Phil already mentioned that. But it is such a great story, and I'm glad he did because it leads into what I've been wanting to say, which is that when the band lost Peter Gabriel, they were
Yeah,
like, "Oh shit, we need a new
yeah,
lead singer."
they really were.
And they did auditions to find out who's going to be the next lead singer
I love
of
this.
Genesis,
Yeah,
only to find out that their drummer, Phil Collins,
yeah,
sounded almost identical to Peter Gabriel.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that was that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
It,
the fun
Will,
story.
Will, to put it in perspective, it'd be like if Robert Plant said, "Guys, is in Zeppelin still together? Guys, I got to bail."
And John Bonham takes over.
I heard who? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But bottom line, you got it. You got to. You're gonna have to find a lead singer. Yeah, yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. Whoever it is. Yeah. Whether you get another guy or whether it's somebody in the back.
And I will say, like, it is just
Well, I'm sure.
shocking how similar they sound to the
Mm,
outside ear. It
mm.
really is
I
hard
have,
to tell
I
the
have a,
difference.
Braden, I have a hard time sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons it was really fun to listen to some of the older stuff. And I only binged it. I would listen to like part of a song and sometimes I'd heard it, sometimes I hadn't, and go on to the next one or whatever, and go on to the next one, go on to the next one, go on to the next album with
Mm.
Gay Roaster. And there were times where, because Phil did actually sing a couple of the songs lead with old Genesis, but he was mostly backup stuff. But Will, bottom line is, um, uh, Phil's voice kind of uh, and backing up Phil Collins. So the only two singers in the original band was Peter, and then Phil would back him up, and he had great vocals. Sometimes drummers can have great vocals, and they back up the their Triumph is an example. In other bands, but so the detailed story. Braden, I heard this like twice recently. Um, and Phil's telling the story. Actually, it's the same thing I heard twice. And it's Phil. Um, he said we auditioned singers, and 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 he said it didn't work out. Wasn't working out, and he said it's an interview with Dan Rather. Actually, it's a really cool, probably 60 minutes. Dan Rather. I don't know, even, but it was Dan Rather interview,
Mm.
and he said I was assisting the vocalist to tell him how it went because I was backup vocals and I know the shit like big time. And they auditioned, and he said they picked one guy, and they actually went in the studio. And after the studio session, they said, "Yeah, that's not going to work either." And then the rest of the other guys said, "Dude, I think it's you," basically. And he goes, "Yeah, I might be." So hence why they had. So when they set out after that, they had to get for live performances. After that, they had to get the second drummer, and the second drummer was Chester Thompson.
Yeah, you did. You talked
Yep.
about. You
Yeah,
talked about it.
we talked about ad nauseum. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that connects all the dots. Full circle.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, we're hitting 2:05 here, and I have to do some chores, so I think I'm going to be heading out.
Cool.
Nice. Braden, are you going to be?
I'm probably tapping out as well. I think
Alrighty.
What is the rest of
on everything.
what does the rest of the shirt say? Genesis, and then what's below
Genesis Owusu, which I already mentioned on the back. It's the face of the artist. Australian rap / pop. He sort of shifted lanes after I saw him. Artist.
I don't look
Killer,
as
killer live show. Awesome, sweet dude. I actually got to take a photo with him, chat with him after the show.
You mentioned we talked about that before.
Yeah.
Talked about that before. Yeah. Guys, thank you.
Yeah. It's a cool one, man.
Thanks for having me.
Cool one.
That's killer. Thank you.
All righty, that's a wrap. Episode 14.
That was a must do. So Brayden, when you come on, so what happens? You guys just type in your own name?
Yeah.
See, I don't know that because I've never been on that.
Yeah, we just put it on our own. So, but yeah.
Brayden, you're gonna kick out of this for the first like 6 episodes. I'm like, I think Yardstream is so smart that it just picks the cool name of the person. I had no idea. And Will goes, no, I type it.
Nice.
I thought Yardstream was making the shit up.
Oh, Phil.
All right, guys.
All righty.
Oh, God.
Tomorrow? Yeah. Oh, hey, wet dress rehearsal, 9:40, CryoFlow starts.
That is true.
According to Mr. Lance Case of Cryo. Yeah. So, all right, Mignon.
All right.
Love you guys.
See you guys.
Love you too, Phil. See you guys.
All right.
Thanks,
What was ready to bug out? Okay, I gotta kill this. All right. Now it is. Remember that second.